Guys, kia ora, good morning. So this morning I'm out at Blackball Cemetery on the west coast of New Zealand. It's been a while since I have documented any cemeteries. Basically every time I've tried to get out, the weather's been bad or something's come up. So finally we're having a decent summer, the weather is good, so I decided to pop out here this morning. Now, I've written a few notes about Blackball in itself, so I will read those out to you. Okay, so cemetery fans, just a note that I normally don't like to document the fresh graves and the new ones, only the historical ones, because I think it's a bit insensitive to do ones that are still, you know, only freshly done. So I have made a few notes about Blackball. The cemetery was first established around 1900 to 1901 to serve the West Coast community and coal mining area. Now, if you didn't know, the West Coast is huge on coal mining. It still gets exported to this day and is still used locally by many residents here on the West Coast. The local Grey Council managed this cemetery until 1902, when it was handed to the trustees and appointed to the government by the government. 99% of the graves here have been identified with being many local miners and residents, most of them in the Paparo mining incidents over the years, and the cemetery itself is a historical burial site. There's also a war memorial here dedicated to the Pike River mining disaster victims that happened in 2010. So I'll get to that. Blackball first established around 1895, and it is known as the birthplace of the modern labour movement in New Zealand. Now, Gold Rush site was in 1864, and it was a major coal producer until 1964. The town was named after the Blackball shipping line, which leased some land to the local area for coal mining, and the Blackball Lodge of the United Order of Druids was formed in 1906 but no longer exists, as does the Lodge of Fellows. Now, some features around Blackball are the Blackball Salami Company. I've tried their product, it is very good, and the Blackball Workingmen's Club, and also the historical Hilton Hotel. So we'll get started. I'll just start here. Now, some of the names here are still seen in the area today. They're still local names. So, as you can see, there's probably some unmarked ones here, just over there, and over in that section there. There's still some over there. I'll probably see a few more as we go around too. This one is Marguerite Naylor, 1944 to 1949. Loved daughter and sister of Herbert Naylor, 1918 to 1999. Loved husband and father and pop to Emma Jane Naylor as well. This one is very, very sad. It always makes me feel a bit melancholy when I see children's graves. Carol May Lester, died 12th of February 1945, aged 7 weeks. At least the graves in this area are all pretty well cared for. I think I can read this one. George Reynolds, Thomas, I think that's Douglas, son of the above, and Euphemia, loved wife and mother of the above, died 18th of November 1969, and their beloved daughter, I think that says Doxy May Dudley, died 1959 at age 30 years. I like the little angel there, that's cute. There's another one, Thomas Naylor, and I think Alice Naylor, and I can't really read the rest of it, but it also says Stanley Naylor, 17th of February 1915 to 17th of February, not sure what that bottom date is, loved husband and pop. In loving memory of Roy Edward Williams, died 2nd of October 1963, aged 57. Some nice piece of glass there. Silas George Lewis, beloved husband of Myrtle Thelma, died 12th of July 1968 in his 66th year. These are nice headstones here. Robert Bob Goodman, dearly beloved husband of Bev, loved father of Martin and Michael, died 1995, aged 58 years. Beverly Goodman also. Alex Bokert, born 1913, died 1997, husband of Mary and father of Matt, Pat and Pete. And it also says Matthew John Bokert, 2000 I think that is. That little one, this little one is William Vivian McCulloch, born 1943 to 2004, and Erin Rose, died 1944, 2022. Brian Trevor Ransby, I think that says born 1941, died 2007. There's a little one there. I'm not sure who that's for. Elsie McKinley, but I don't think there's any more details there. Could be a child's grave. John Randall Williams, died 8th of July 1983, and you can see that little emblem on the left hand side of the headstone, which tells me he was probably in the lodge and was probably a Freemason. There's quite a few down here on the west coast that have that little emblem. Lillian Kinsella, died 1862, a beloved husband and father, and Leslie Kinsella, died 1983. I like how some of the graves have little ceramic items on them, like those, like the roses here. Really pretty. This one obviously was someone that was in the military. Alan John Kinsella, accidentally killed in RNZAF March the 4th, 1957, aged 19 years. That's a really nice one as well. In loving memory of Benjamin John Williams, died 1948. His dear wife Isabel died 1969. Another rose, really, really pretty. And I think someone's put some ceramic tulips over there as well. And this one is Bill Mountford, 1922 to 1991. Isabel Mountford, 1921 to 2014. I hate standing on graves. And this one says Gran. Isabella Koenig, died 1932, aged 67 years. Not many of these graves are sunk in. They're actually looking pretty good. I've seen worse. In loving memory of Henry, beloved husband of Sarah, I think that's Grindle or Brindle, aged 73 years. Sarah, beloved wife of Above, died March 1937, at rest. So that's obviously a double one or a family one. Same with this one, and I can't really read what it says. Could be Harry or Larry, and maybe Annie or Emma, but I'll have to research that when I get home. As you can see here, and I showed before, some more unmarked graves. I'm guessing back in the day when the cemetery was first established, if someone didn't have money, they covered their loved ones with rocks and stones. Another unmarked one there. Yes, that section I was talking about before. You can see at least 4 or 5 in there maybe. Right, down here. In loving memory, James Wilson Douglas. I think that says died maybe 1933. That's a nice one with a little book there. Lots of moss on this one that's collected over the years. Not sure about that one. If you've got any idea about what some of the harder to read graves might say, please let me know. In memory of Robert Dahl, I think it says, or 1927. Sorry, I'm just trying to get these flies away and little midgies. In loving memory of James, beloved husband of Hope Cecilia Allen, died 1927. So obviously they're both in there, judging by the size of this one. Another single one with a book. In loving memory of Thomas, beloved son of Thomas and Margaret Caldwell, died at 19, I think that's 27 or 22, aged 12 years. Right, over here. Well, this one's broken, sadly. I think that's David Lewis, who departed this life at Papara, 1910, aged 40 years. Late official of North Brunner Collier. So here's someone that would have worked at the Brunner mine, possibly. That's a really nice headstone. I hope it gets fixed. Now this one's a little bit fallen at the back. Probably a double one. Now I can only read one side of it. It says, I think, Emily, maybe Emily, and I think it says Donald, 1921. Another child's one, really, really sad. Sacred to the memory of Mary, I think that says Prentice, and maybe 1929, but yeah, really, really sad. Lester James Marsh, died 1924, born 1923, so a little baby. This one says James, beloved husband of Jane. I think this is Outram, killed at Blackball. Probably a mining accident. Alex Brock as well, aged, I can't remember what that says, maybe 9. Also Amelia, beloved daughter of James and Jane Outram, I think it's 25, and Jane Outram, 1934. Sorry guys, the midgies here are getting a bit annoying. That's our Kiwi word for mosquitoes. Maria McDonald, I think that says, died 1975. That's a Scottish lady. In loving memory of, is that Lindsay? Beloved husband, Mary Abbott. And I think, I'm not sure of the date or the age. It's really hard to read because most of these have come off obviously through wear and tear in the weather and elements and stuff. You can see lots of trucks come through here on the way to Greymouth. William Graham. Not sure what this one is because it's fallen over. But if you know who that is, please leave me a comment. Robert Gregory, killed at a hoda, September 18th, 1916. I'm going to have to look that up when I get home. On to the next lot. Not sure about this one because there's no indication, no information. Oh, hold on, here we are. Gladys Martin, 1929. I think that's aged 11 years. I'll have to look up that one as well. I think that's another unmarked one. This one's sinking in a little bit, I think. Sacred to the memory of, all I can see is Arthur. Again, if you know who this is or you can read it, let me know. This one is, I think it says Shona Robertson, who was accidentally killed October 1914. Deeply regretted. It's got flowers up the top, so that's a really pretty one. I love in old cemeteries how they have the old ironwork around the graves. They don't really do that now, but it's such a nice touch. Now this one, I think the headstone has fallen off, but someone's laid it neatly on the ground. In loving memory of Joseph, beloved husband of someone Richards. And I can't quite read the date that they passed away. Well, this one's really nice. No headstone for it, but someone's painted a really lovely rock. Mary Ann Mays died 5th of November 1936. That's lovely. There's a little plaque there as well. Someone's very clever to do these. Well done. This one is in loving memory of Henry Lawrence, beloved husband of Bertha Nielsen, died 1936. So if anyone in the cemetery is related to you, feel free to leave me a comment. Percival Ernest Henry Vickery, born 1891, died 1938, loved husband of Ethel and loving father of Barbara, killed in a mining accident. And sadly, that's pretty common. And it's part of history on the west coast too. There's been a lot of mining accidents here over the years. Daphne Velda Lewis, born 1st of the 11th 1924, died 2nd of the 1st 1926, so a little girl. Very sad. So over to this section here, second row, actually. Okay, so Thomas, I can't read that last bit, looks like a K, Kerr, Margaret Kerr. Also Margaret Snedden, beloved wife of the above, aged 78 years. I can't really read the dates. I think it's 1911 for the first one, but that's got to be a family plot, that one. That is quite a grand sculpture, that one. I think it says Elizabeth and David, but I can't read the dates on them. But you can see that starting to fall into the ground and collapse on its own weight, sadly. Thomas, could be wrong, is it Edgerton? It's a hard one, that one. Another nice sculpture. I'll have a look around here and see if I can find out more about it. Not sure, but it looks like a family plot. It's really hard to read. You can probably hear someone's chickens cackling away in the background. Alfred Schofield, 2nd of October 1964. So that's a really nice recent headstone that obviously probably the family's put there. This one, impressive. In loving memory of John, son of someone and Margaret Leighton, accidentally drowned in the Grey River, 1903. I think that's 3. Very sad. I'll have to look that one up as well. I think that says Max Stenhouse. Died 7th of June, I think that's 1908. Also Fame Stenhouse, mother of the above, 1915. It's obviously a plant there or a tree. I'll go around to that one when I get there. I think that one says Elizabeth, but can't really read anything else. Mary Faulkner, died at Blackball, 1914, aged 32 years. George Faulkner, her husband. Georgina Kinsella, 1907, aged 71 years. Her beloved daughter Elizabeth Hay, 1956. That's falling in as well. Lovely shell that someone's put there, big shell. Elizabeth Hay, I think that says 1918, beloved husband John, I think his name is, 1931, at rest. Beautiful. This is a nice, looks like the top of it has been redone again. Judging by the circle in the front, I'm wondering if something else was there and the ground's falling in and they've put that in. Sacred to the memory of John Dennis Lyons, aged 38 years, also Joseph Skinner, aged 38 years, who were drowned in the Grey River, 1907. Erected by the residents of the district to commemorate a brave man's deeds in saving life. The grave is but a covered bridge leading from light to light through a brief darkness. Now, if you don't know the Grey River, it can be a very fast moving river and it'll take you away if you're not careful. You don't go swimming in it, you just don't. You have respect for water. But I'm guessing sadly in those days there were many fatalities with water. They probably didn't know how to swim, sadly. Not sure what that says. I think I read Wilma Alice, maybe? 1912, killed at Paparoa. I think the top name might be Hector. That's another one for me to look up. And that's pretty much the reason why I do this, because when I go home and look up names and things, it's really interesting to read about people's lives. In loving memory of Frances Nielsen, 1913, and William, her beloved husband, 1944. This one, no headstone again. Looks like these ones don't really have anything either. This one, Martin Horrobin, killed at Paparoa Mine. Or could be Morrison, I'm not sure. Robert, beloved husband of Frances Short, 1938. Charles Allen, 1950. In memory of John Muir, I think that says 61. His loved wife, Frances, 72. That's a really nice one. And Ellen Elizabeth Crawford. In loving memory of Elizabeth Nuttall, 1929, aged 73 years. Someone's lined that with really nice rocks. John Andrew, I think this is Cornish or Cornish. Native of, could be Wales, 1908. I think he died at rest. It's a really nice one with, I think it's an angel at the top. And that's falling in as well. In loving memory of Colin, beloved husband of Louisa Algie, 1911, gone but not forgotten. That's a fairly new one as well. And I think this is an angel, or no, maybe it's a vase that's fallen off something and someone's neatly put it there. In loving memory of Walter, and I think it says also Emily, his beloved wife. I can't make out the last name or the date, might be 1914. That one. In loving memory of Charles, beloved son of William and Mary Allen, 1944, aged 9 years. Very sad. In loving memory of John MacDonald, died 1954, his loved wife Alexis, 1972, also Mona Louise MacDonald and Lawrence John Rankin. Another unmarked grave. If I can find a cemetery list for this one, I will put it in the description. You guys can check it out. In loving memory of, I think it's Mary Jane, not sure about the last name, Bran or Gran or Cran, and I can't really make out the date either. That's really worn away, that one. In loving memory of Mary Hunter, beloved wife of Henry Koenig, and I think that's 1911, aged 24 years. That's very young. James Howden, 1955, and his wife Janet, 1982. Wondering if that little one over there is a baby or child or something. Beautifully quiet here this morning. The last row of graves that we're going through, and I'm guessing those are more unmarked ones there, and on the other side too. Michael, beloved husband of Georgina, I think it says Geraghty, 1928. It's a nice cross, and that one's a really nice Celtic cross. Thomas, might be Tracy. I can't really see the name on that one, but sadly that one's falling in too. Mary, and is it Mary? It could be Mark, beloved husband of Ellen. Could be Durnan, and I can't really see a date on there. So if you know, let us know. Peter Dawson, I think it says, native of County, is it Longford Island? Died, I think it's 1923 or 1925. Patrick Raleigh, Mulgar or Mulger or Mulgear, died 1937, age 86. One that's unmarked, I think. I can't see anything there. William Ralph Beard, I think it says 1924. So I'm not sure whether that's been carved on stone or whether that's part of the original headstone. Getting eaten by midgies. Catherine, beloved wife of Henry Boyle. Native of, I think it's County Clare, Ireland. So that Boyle is an Irish name. Died March, I think it's the 25th, 1910. Aged 62 years. Just trying to keep these midges away. In loving memory of James Meehan, beloved son of Thomas and Mary Meehan, killed at Blackball July the 7th, 1909, aged 40 years. Most likely another mining accident, sadly. There you go, a little baby's one. No idea who that is. Very, very small and cute. That one's another little one. It says Christopher Jeffrey Spark. I can't quite read the name, but that's tiny. Absolutely heartbreaking. In loving memory of Ward Robinson, 1942, and Mary, his beloved wife, 1908. I'm guessing back then the ages for people to live and die were quite low compared to what they are now. Bertha Lillian Robinson, 1909, age 16. So that'll be their daughter. Family plot, 3 of them in there. In loving memory of someone Anderson, and I think that's 1926, age 43 years. Could be Arnold. And I'm thinking also on the plaque is probably his wife. Can't see it because it's well worn, but it's a double plot. Going over here. I think it says W. Ridderford. Died 1919. I could be wrong. A.W. I think that is. In loving memory of something Marie, beloved wife of someone, and there's nothing else that you can see there. This one's well worn as well, starting to fall in. That's quite an impressive sculpture right there. Probably looks like the one that I found earlier, which is on the ground. Another one that doesn't say anything. This one, I think it is Jane Elizabeth. Everything's fallen off, but that's about all I can read. And it might say Helen as well, and I think it says John. In loving memory of Joseph William, only son of Joseph and Mary Glasson, died 1913, age 15. Also Joseph, father of the above, died 1937. Wait for that truck to go. Now this one says Thomas. And I think it's 1914. I think it says age 2 years, but there may be parents in there with him. I'm not sure because it's reasonably big for a child, but I really can't see anything else. That one someone's put a plant pot in, obviously, to hide the hole there. I think this one says Dorothy Davies in 1918. That one's really hard as well. All of these are really well worn. I think that might say Margarita or Margaret. Again, can't see a date or anything on it. This one is Walter and Alexis. But everything else is well worn. I like these coloured rocks here. That's a bit different. Loved memory of Arthur, beloved husband of Myrtle Meadowcroft, and Kevin Fleming. This one can't see anything. Fred Davies, died 1913, age 28. Thomas William Boland, 2011. It's a very small area. That's a really nice stone right there. Very recent, very nice. Does it say Robbie Page? Robert Page, 1961 to 2013. Wondering if that person was a miner. Can't read the first name, but it looks like someone Jackson. 1923, I think. Is it Rosanna? And Frederick. It's another one that's well worn away and it looks like a book. Bertha and William Downs or Dawns. I think that's 1918. That one's completely worn away. In loving memory of Walter, beloved husband of Mary Rogers, died 1915, aged 48 years.